on cellular 5G. After my presentation on cellular 5G last week, I was kicking myself for not having been more explicit on several points. As I was figuring out how to redeem myself, I came on to two recent articles by Sasha Sagan, a knowledgeable writer on 5G at PCMag.com. You know, all know PC Magazine. Quite a reliable source. This resulted in my presenting some new information on 5G today. Last week, I told you that 5G frequencies are typically divided into two categories: slower speed frequencies below 6 gigahertz and faster ones that are above 6 gigahertz and also known as millimeter wave. Mr. Sagan prefers to look at 5G frequencies as being divided instead into three categories, calling them low band, mid band, and high band. Much of the focus on 5G up to now has been on high band frequencies, which provide blazingly fast speeds, but unfortunately only travel very short distances, like maybe around 800 feet. And that's, think of cell phones that go miles. In order to provide such much wider 5G coverage, cellular providers need to rely on present low-band frequencies, which are much slower, to broaden their network. Sasha Sagan makes a convincing case that mid-band 5G frequencies ranging from 2 to 10 gigahertz, though less fast than high band, will be important to 5G by broadening its distance range. Mid-band 5G reaches out about a half mile from its transmitter, which is more than 3 times as far as high-band 5G, and will likely become the workhorse frequencies that is used in cities and towns going forward. High-band millimeter wave 5G will continue to be concentrated in high-density population areas, primarily found in parts of very large cities. Frequencies at 2 gigahertz and lower, which include low band and present 4G LTE, will be used to broaden coverage in much less densely populated areas and along highways. Another important point is that millimeter wave 5G signals, those are the high band, very high band, drop off faster distance-wise than lower band frequencies. Consequently, cellular providers will need to use many smaller, lower power transmitters to provide more consistent super high speeds that millimeter wave 5G promises. In another PC Mag article by Sasha Sagan just last week, it was on the 22nd, he tells current Verizon 5G phone users not in a true 5G area to turn off 5G right now. That's somewhat startling because it actually may be slower. He explains that now this is a little complicated, so follow. He explains that Verizon's 4G network is usually faster when a 5G capable phone is reset to receive 4G rather than being set at its default 5G setting. He postulates that Verizon 5G phones retain their default 5G settings in Verizon's 4G environments to trick the user into thinking that Verizon 5G coverage is greater than it really is. This is directly related to some other information about Verizon. In October, Verizon introduced nationwide 5G, which is based on dynamic spectrum sharing, DSS. I told you about that last week. This reuses parts of its 4G channels for 5G. As mentioned previously, Verizon 5G phones usually default to 5G even when in 4G areas. But Mr. Sagan says, or claims, it's all for show. Kind of a startling claim. PC Mag's recent tests using an iPhone 12 Pro in New York City showed that Verizon's nationwide 5G is usually slower than 4G and rarely faster. Read that sentence again. Kind of startling. Those results were similar to tests done in Chicago in October. Android phones were also used in these tests with similar results. The gold standard of 5G is to use broad, dedicated, standalone channels for 5G traffic. That's what 5G is working toward, the ultimate goal. However, Verizon's DSS, which is the foundation of their nationwide 5G, is deployed at this time in a way that often degrades its 5G speed. Kind of startling. This problem should disappear eventually when Verizon and other carriers are able to fully implement standalone 5G channels. Some humorously say that Verizon's DSS stands for Desperately Slow System, and others have referred to it as fake 5G, excuse me. In all fairness, Verizon isn't alone with its fake 5G. Other tests revealed that AT&T's fastest mobile network, as they call it, their 5G system, likewise is often slower than their 4G network. The important message here is to be wary of what might be called 5G headline hype in describing cell phone plans. Check that out with Verizon. I think they're guilty. When it comes to cellular providers' 5G plans and cellular manufacturers' 5G phones, it's really important to read the fine print and understand what it says or what it doesn't say. As I said last week, if you're contemplating buying a new smartphone, a 5G phone will usually be a good choice. And take time before to bone up on 5G phones and plans from your favorite carrier. Remember, that's the cellular carrier with the best service where you are at most of the time. Told you that last week. Finally, I'd like to recommend that in the future, if you want to know anything more about 5G, a good starting place is the very brilliant Sasha Sagan at PCMag.com. Wishing you all a belated Merry Christmas and a happy and healthy 2021. Hopefully, the year that sees the demise of our dreaded COVID-19. Well, that's my Tech Talk story for today, and I'm sticking with it. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and have a great day.
So, what is in your Google account? It's your Gmail. So, in my case, let me tell you what I would lose if I lost my Google account. I've spent years and years and years developing relationships with a lot of organizations I work with, huge number of people that I know. I communicate daily with them in email. That would all be gone. My Google Drive has 200 gigabytes of data on it. That would all be gone. Now, I've probably got it backed up, but it's still a lot of work to get it back up to Google Drive. Google Photos, you're going to lose all your Google Photos. Oh, man, that would be impossible to put all those photos. I've got 20,000 photos up there. It would almost be impossible to redo that. And the biggest one for me, and I realize this isn't for everybody, but is my YouTube channel. I've spent the last 5 or 6 years. There's tens of thousands of hours in that channel, and all the videos would all be gone. All because of an attack. All because someone hacked into my account, and now it's all gone. So do you want to start over? I don't think you do. So let's get you protected. So two-factor authentication is easy, and it's 100% effective to prevent what I just discussed. So it is a must-have. Let's have a look. So these are the accounts that I have protected. I have Google, Microsoft, Amazon, LastPass, PayPal, GoDaddy, Twitter, and MailChimp. Those all are my accounts that I have two-factor authentication enabled on. So there are 4 methods. There's the simple, the simpler, the simplest, and the totally brain dead one. All right. All right. So let's go to the simple one first. All right. Okay, everyone, we're going to do a little demonstration. Now, I'm going to give you something that no one else has, all right? So for this demonstration, I want you to hold your arm out straight, palms up, all right? Come on, everybody get their arm out, and I want you to hold it out straight, but the palm must be up. Hewie, you don't have your arm out? Bob, come on. Dewey, get your arm out straight, palms up. You're leaning on the desk. I can see you. All right, you've got your arms straightened out and your palm is up. Now, through the magic of the internet, I am going to come into your house, into your computer now. I'm going to walk down your arm and I'm going to jump up and down on your hand and I'm going to put something in the palm of your hand that nobody else will have. And it's going to be unique to you, okay? Are you ready? Come on, you got to have your arm out straight and your palm up. Is everyone ready? Let's start this now. Okay, with your left hand, I want you to take your cell phone and I want you to put it in your right hand in the palm. In your cell phone, you will now find a unique 6-digit code that nobody else would have. And that's what I just came in. I put it in your phone and it's now in the palm of your hand. And that's a 6-digit code that no one else will have. Now, you have 30 seconds to enter it into the computer as your second factor authentication. That, folks, is the first and most common method of two-factor authentication that we have. It is a text message to your cell phone. All right, now all the security people in this room are all going to be jumping up and down and saying, but. And okay, let's talk about the problems with this. In order for this to work, you have to get text messaging. So if you don't have an account or a cell phone plan that gets text messages, then this isn't going to work for you. Most do have text messaging, though, although internationally, when you travel, you will need an international texting plan. Also, some people just don't want to text, and they think it causes cancer or some weird things like that. I don't know, but there are people who just don't want to text. The other thing is called SIM jacking. And this is a targeted attack in which someone actually steals the SIM card out of your phone. They phone the cell phone plan, your cell phone provider up, and they talk them into porting your number onto their SIM card. Then, of course, your secret 6-digit code wouldn't go to your phone, it would go to their phone. And that's called SIM jacking, and it actually occurs fairly commonly. However, these are mostly targeted attacks. And this comes back to the nobody and somebody. If you're sort of a nobody, unlikely you're going to get a targeted attack. But for sure, if you hold a responsible position, you're, let's say you're in politics, and you move from, the risk level would go up as you move from municipal to state to federal politics. As you move up, then of course, it would be more important for you to be very careful with this. So, but it is the most common form of second factor authentication. But there's even a simpler method than this, one that doesn't involve text messaging. Let's look at that. This is where we are going to use what we call an authentication app. This is an app that sits on your phone and provides that 6-digit code, and you don't even have to be connected to the internet. The apps are all free. Now, if you go on to the Play Store, you'll find out, if you look to the left, there are Microsoft makes an authenticator app, Google makes an authenticator app, LastPass, Sophos, LastPass, and the one I use, which is called Authy, A-U-T-H-Y. Now, I will tell you that for many, many years, probably 5 or 6 years, I used the Google Authenticator app. All these apps work exactly the same, and it doesn't matter which one you pick. It doesn't matter. You just pick one of them, and they all work exactly the same. And I'll tell you exactly how that works in a minute. But I used Google for about 5 or 6 years, and it worked fine. Then I was listening to Leo Laporte, a techie guy on the radio show. He's a national radio show, and he liked Authy, A-U-T-H-Y, and you'll see that is outlined in red on the screen. And he recommended that, and I've been using Authy for the last 3 or 4 years. Authy has some advantages. The first thing Authy lets you do is, if you get a new cell phone, it's very easy to move your accounts from your old phone to your new phone. it used to be with Google, with the Authenticator, you had to reinitiate the authentication app for each account. So Authy lets you just move it much easier between phones. The second thing it is it allows you to have an app on your PC as well as on your phone to get the codes. So it works a little bit better. It's free as well, and so I've been using Authy, Authy. Okay, let's see how this app works. So this is real simple. Remember, this is even simpler. I said this is so simple. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the service, let's say Google, and you want to initiate two-factor authentication. It's going to say, well, do you want to use the Authenticator app? And you say yes. Okay. And so on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see a QR code. So in the setup of Google, what you'd be doing is when you say, yes, I want to use an Authenticator app, on your computer screen would come up this QR code. Okay? Now, on the right side of your screen, which would be your cell phone, you would open up the Authenticator app, and you would say, I want to create a new account, and you'd click on that, and it would bring up a scanning window. It would like you're going to scan the QR code, okay? All as you do is take the QR code, you take the scanner from your phone, and you hover it over top of the QR code on your screen of your computer. Boom. Something happens, and you now have an account. And that's all there is to it. It's that simple. It takes a couple of seconds to do. Boom, it's there. So how does the app work? Like what happened here? All as the app is it's a timer. It's a timer. When you scan that QR code, it starts a digital timer. And it randomly generates a 6-digit code every 30 seconds, right? And yes, the bad guys could download the app. That's not a problem. But they would never, ever be able to synchronize the exact time when you started it. In other words, when you click that button and you sync the two together, they would never know what that exact time was. And that's what creates the 6-digit code. So now when you want to get your 6-digit code, your wherever you're logging into your Google account, it says, what is the 6-digit code? You just open the app up and you'll be able to see what the 6-digit code is. So what are the advantages to the Authenticator app? Well, the app works on all sites, and it doesn't matter which one you use. They're all free. It works locally on your phone. You don't even need to be connected to the internet. And it creates the 6-digit code that's good for 30 seconds. And then you just enter that in. That's why some of you probably said, gee whiz, 6 digits. There, with the supercomputers we have, it could probably be hacked. That's true, but not in 30 seconds. So the code will change every 30 seconds, all right? And that's called the Authenticator app. And that's basically what I use for all my accounts. All right. The third method is the simplest method. And this is not probably for everyone, but for techies, it works really well. I found this particular service only available on Google. And maybe it's available on some other sites, but Google does use this. And what this does is this, in the setup of in the security features of your account, it will ask you if you want to take a device, and let's say your cell phone, and you want to make it a trusted device, all right? And you say yes, and there's a little process you go through to verify that your phone now is a trusted device. So now if you're trying to log in, you get a push notification to your phone coming up, as you'll see here on the right-hand side, and you'll get a message like this saying, trying to sign in. It'll say, so-and-so is trying to sign in from another computer. Is this you? And you can, if it is, you say yes, and boom, it lets you in. You don't need to put the second factor. You don't need that 6-digit code. This is actually really helpful for techies like myself, who 2 days ago, I was setting up a computer. I was using, I put some Linux on it, and I needed to get into my Google account. So what would happen is when I tried to get into my Google account, I just got a push notification on my cell phone and saying, "Hey, is this you?" And I said yes, and boom, I'm in. So it's an easy way to do it. Probably not everybody needs to do that way. All right, here is the last way, the sixth and last way. This is the most secure, and this is the braid dead way. All right, this is it's using a key. Yes, a key. Now I have to tell you, there's a little some fun with this. I wanted to find some pictures of keys. So one of the companies that makes keys is called Yuba. So I did a search for Yuba. And I got the Locksmith Yuba City Key Company, which actually makes keys, physical keys, not digital keys. And anyway, so this is the picture from their site. So these are keys that you would have in your house. So you actually can use a key to lock your computer, just like your car, just like your house. You use a physical key. And these are the keys that you would have. And to give you an idea, there are a lot of different companies that make them. On the bottom left here, you'll see Google's keys. They sell these. I think they're around $50 for the two of them. You'll see that there is a physical key that actually goes into the computer, and there's one here on the side, which is your Bluetooth key, right? Because you wouldn't be able to plug a key into your cell phone, so you would use the Bluetooth key. So you'd either have a physical one that you plug in. And so when you use these keys, you do not need the second factor, because the second factor is in the key. And unless you have the key in your computer, you're not going to get into those accounts. All right, if you work for Google, you can only access your account with the Google key. And employee accounts don't get hacked. This completely stopped any hacking, because that's an encrypted key and there's nobody else that has the code. So you have to use that key to get into your account. All right, so here are the four methods of two-factor authentication we talked about today. There's simple, which is the text messaging. There is simpler, which is the authentication app. There's the simplest, which is the push notification. And there's the brain dead, which of course is the security key. So my final comments are this, and I'm going to give you a couple of tips that you can take home with you. Two-factor authentication generally doesn't work on shared accounts. And in our computer club, I see a lot of people that has a husband and wife shared account. And shared accounts really don't work well with two-factor authentication. The second thing is, you really do require your own cell phone. So again, sharing a cell phone with a partner doesn't usually work in this situation. And you know, as we move into the post-COVID era, a lot of the monitoring devices, we talk a lot about watches and personal health monitoring devices that are going to be coming out for you in the next few years. Again, all are very person-specific and are related to your own cell phone. So it really is you really need to each have your own cell phone, particularly for security as we move on into the future. Well, thanks for watching. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Two-factor authentication explained. Remember, if you like the video, please click the like and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you again, and thanks for watching my video.
And tricks number 2 for your Chromebook. I'm Hewie Poplock. You can open two apps side by side in a split screen mode. Currently I have one. There is a second window now open. Now you can drag the app to the left or to the right of the screen. When you see that half of the screen is lit up, you let go. And then either select another app, active app from the overview interface, or open a new app from your launcher to fill up the other half. You can do this with any combination of websites, Chrome apps, Android apps, and even Linux apps. So let's see how that's done. We're going to take the one program, move it all the way to the left. until we see about half the screen lit up. You'll see that in just a moment. And you let go. And it's now filled half the screen. Now you do the right, all the way to the right, until it lights up half the screen, and you let go. And now you have them on a split screen. You can go back and forth from one to the other without it being overlapped or turning one on and off. So you can copy and paste. You can have a document open and then have something you're copying from to type and make it your own. Your Chromebook has a handy overview interface for juggling open apps and windows. You can get to it by pressing the button that looks like a box with two lines on your keyboard in the function row directly to the left of the brightness controls, or by pressing the similarly shaped icon that appears in the lower right-hand corner of the screen when the Chromebook is in tablet mode. Then you can click on any of the items and it brings that one forward. You can keep going back by clicking that same key and getting back to the overview mode. You can get to something similar to this by clicking your Alt key, holding it down, and then hitting Tab. As you hit the Tab key each time, continuing to hold the Alt key down, it will go from one to the other, and whichever one you stop at and let go of the keys, it will open that app. Similarly, you can do the same thing on a Windows computer. Here's another tip for you. Have you ever wanted to have a caps lock on your Chromebook? Because there's no caps lock key, it's a search key. Well, if you click that search key and hold it down and then go to the Alt button, it turns on your caps lock. And to turn it off, you just reverse it or do it again. You'll hold the search key and hit the Alt button and it turns it off. So you'll have a toggle switch. Turn it on, turn it off by hitting the search key or everything key and the Alt key at the same time. So now you can shout at anybody at any time. That's what they call all caps, is shouting. There we go. So you can see I covered it a little bit as well. The Alt tab, and you can reverse the Alt tab by doing, I believe there's another key you can hit and it'll go the other way. You can go one way or the other. But let me go ahead and do the other video I have, and then we can do the any Q&A, any more Q&A. So let's see. Screen. Close this. And there we go. Chromebook auto update expiration explained. I'm Hewie Poplock. The information I'm about to give you came from this website at google.com from their support website. And I will show you this link at the end of the presentation as well. Chrome devices such as the Chromebook and Chromebox and other Chrome-based systems receive automatic updates that enhance both the device and its software. Device updates provide the latest features and keep the device secure and are applied across the operating system, browser, and hardware. These updates depend on many device-specific non-Google hardware and software providers that work with Google to provide the highest level of security and stability support. For this reason, older Chrome devices cannot receive updates indefinitely to enable new operating system and browser features. Every Chrome device receives regular updates from Google until it reaches its auto update expiration, or AUE, date, listed below, subject to support from component manufacturers. When a device reaches the AUE, automatic software updates from Google will no longer be provided. Chrome devices that have not reached their AUE date will continue to receive operating system updates. After the AUE date is reached, existing and future policies may not work as intended, and the technical support will not be provided. Google will publish a model's AUE date on the page that I'm showing you after its release, giving buyers time to make purchase decisions. Please check the AUE date when making a purchase decision. When you go to the page, you'll find the manufacturer of the Chromebook device. And in this case, I am going to go to Acer. And the model that I purchased for my first Chromebook was an R11 from Acer. And the AUE date on that is June 2022. I also recently purchased a Dell computer about a year ago, and its expiration date will be in June of 2025. That date of expiration is based on the release date of the model, not when you purchase it. So you can buy a brand new Chromebook that may have an AUE date of just a few months or maybe just a year away. So you need to check in advance before you make the purchase of how long you're going to be able to continue to get updates to the operating system. Again, here is the address. This has been Chromebook Auto Update Expiration Explained. Again, I'm Hewie Poplock.